ladies and gentlemen, there was a shocking political development. Marjorie Taylor Greene resigned and made an 11-minute video explaining her reason to resign. It's actually pretty insane. It's so insane you'll agree with 90% of it. Yeah, I haven't watched the full thing, but the quotes I've saw, I was like, damn, I mean, she's kind of spinning. So I do want to watch it. You know, if you want a little context here, this is in response, I suppose, recently to the public feud she's been having with Trump over the Epstein files as she pushes to get them released. And her resigning is actually a bit of a problem for the Republican majority. So she's done damage to Trump's coalition and psychological damage by breaking ranks here. It's actually pretty fucking interesting, and I do want to see what she said.
No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. Corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts. American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas.
I'll say a lot of truth in that, especially in the past few decades, especially if you're like young, it's like your whole life. So 100%. I will say that's like not entirely true of all American history. And certainly things have gotten better in different decades of American history. But we've had a pretty declining crop of candidates. You know, especially because it's been all boomers. And as boomers have gotten older and more out of touch, it's just gotten worse and worse. I definitely feel like a part of it is the deep stranglehold at every level of politics, from local all the way to the top, that boomers have had. And as they've gotten extremely old and extremely wealthy, it's become more of a problem.
During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass the plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced.
Yeah, I will say it's the polling is, we talked about this, healthcare premiums going up as a result of the shutdown, not passing the Affordable Care Act extensions. The polling is pretty strong that people are mad about it. Like it's seemingly going to help or going to hurt Republicans in upcoming elections as people now recognize that their premiums are going up so dramatically. There seems to be some talk that Trump might extend the subsidies for 2 years because of how politically damaging it's going to be. If that was the case, they could have never had a shutdown. What a joke, dude. That was the whole point of the shutdown. A vote to extend Obamacare, that's the Republican solution to healthcare. I mean, it is funny to say that, like, we're gonna, you know, Trump had that whole long post about how, listen, the reason we're not extending these is because we have our own plan, and our own plan is gonna be better. It's gonna put money in your pocket. And then there's no plan, and then the idea is let's bring the subsidies back. That was the whole thing you were fighting against. You were raging against the subsidies. That's why we had the longest shutdown ever. This is like, it's such a clown show, bro. But I mean, politically, it's still disastrous. And yeah, it's either subsidies aren't extended and it's super damaging in the midterms, or they are extended and at least some people are gonna notice that's fucking crazy. That was the center of the shutdown.
My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, like calling for a new census counting Americans only to draw new districts, making English the official language of the U.S., making it a felony to medically trans a minor, and other bills like eliminating capital gains taxes on the sale of your primary home and eliminating H-1B visas. Just sit. They all sit collecting dust.
I mean, all seem like bad bills. I mean, maybe cap gains on your first home, but even that sounds like a massive tax break to boomers. Yeah, actually, I hate that. I hate all those. I don't like any of those bills. So I'm not saying she's coming with good ideas. I'm saying she has solid complaints.
Many common Americans are no longer easily convinced by paid political propaganda spokespersons and consultants on TV and paid shills on social media obediently serving with cult-like conviction to force others to swallow the political party talking points. Because they know how much credit card debt they have, they know how much their bills have gone up over the past 5 years. They actually do their own grocery shopping and know food costs too much. Their rent has increasingly gone up and up.
I mean, I want to reiterate that I think all these are very true things, and I've been talking about for a long time. And I do think, you know, my dream is to get people from all different walks of life in America to realize that these are the big main issues and focus exclusively on them. But I do want to warn that, like, she listed 5 bills that she sponsored. None of those would do anything about the problems you just listed. Not one. No, it wouldn't be close. There are solutions to these problems, but they have to be real and they have to be effective and they have to be, not silly, not goofy. But it is at least refreshing to hear a politician talk about these specific problems, because these are the specific problems. These are the great unifying problems in America.
And I led the effort to defund hard-left politically biased NPR and PBS and the corrupt USAID, and I did that as chair of the DOGE subcommittee.
Okay, that's horrible. That's horrible. You defunded PBS to help save the common man, and the DOGE subcommittee, again, this is not on her, this is more on fucking Elon and Trump, but DOGE no longer exists with 8 months left on its charter. DOGE started this year, started with 2 executives, Vivek and Elon, immediately lost Vivek. Elon went fucking hog wild with a bunch of 20-year-old Grok fans. Cut random bullshit, did nothing to hurt the deficit. Let's get a check on the deficit. We're at like 1.7 trillion. There's no 2 trillion cut, not even any. The BB passed. DOGE did nothing. It did nothing. All former DOGE employees are now fired and no longer exist. So the thing lasted like a few months, did nothing. It was all a bunch of hullabaloo. It was useless. No one could verify the expenditures they cut. It just caused damage. There was no waste, fraud, and abuse gotten rid of. It was a show, dog and pony show. And so I would not talk about your incredible work on the DOGE subcommittee. I also want to say there's something to be said here, Marjorie Taylor Greene, that I do respect you calling out Trump's backtracking on his promises and his running protection for the Epstein files and all that. However, it's not something to be proud of to have done so much work to help elect him when he's caused so much, in your own admission, damage. You were saying it was an insane bait and switch, and how could you ever have known that he wouldn't do, but like, I think that was obvious. So it's either extremely poor judgment on your part or something else.
Meanwhile, most of the establishment Republicans who secretly hate him and who stabbed him in the back and never defended him against anything have all been welcomed in right after the election. And I will never forget that.
Bro, you hate him. Everybody that works with him ends up hating him. Every single Republican that was on his team in the first administration in 2016, by the end of it, hated him. His vice president hated him. Everyone hated him. Of course they secretly hate him now. That is just a long-term effect of working with him. All the people in New York that did real estate deals with him, they hate him. Jeffrey Epstein hated him. Read the emails. Bro, they all hate him. Secretly or not secretly, they all end up hating him. The only people that he can trust in the long term are his family, because everyone else ends up hating him. He's not a good person. He's not good to work with. His vice president from 2016 can't be seen near him, has said openly horrendous things about him, wanted to be locked up at the end of his term. His current vice president is the only person in the administration right now that called him Hitler. Like, they don't like him.
Through it all, I never changed or went back on my campaign promises, and only disagreed in a few areas, like my stance against H-1Bs replacing American jobs.
Man, that's just such an interesting line of thought, because the point of this is that you are resigning because of the actions of Trump, that he has attacked you and called you a traitor for trying to get the Epstein files released, that he has backtracked on his promises to regular Americans. But then you're saying with pride that you left your family with brain cancer to go stop him from getting impeached. But now you're basically claiming he deserves impeachment. I don't understand. The story you tell is like that of this incredible pride in how it got here, but then shock Pikachu at what it is.
I believe in term limits and do not think Congress should be a lifelong career or an assisted living facility.
Okay, I got to give a W. Honestly, WMTG. True. God, I hate how old Congress is coming. It is a assisted living facility. And they do have lifers in there, like Susan Collins, who said she would quit in the 90s, and we're now in 2025, and she's running again in 26.
And I have fought against Democrats' damaging policies like the Green New Deal, wide open, deadly, unsafe border policies, and the trans agenda on children and against women.
Honestly, I mean, the takeaway, this is not a speech for me, clearly, or for obviously this audience. What I'm recognizing here, though, this reminds me of the book we're reading, When Everyone Knows That Everyone Knows. This is pretty damaging for Trump. This is a speech directly to MAGA. This is a directly MAGA speech, and is definitely undermining his stranglehold over that group. It's basically saying everything they want to hear and saying Trump's not the guy, which is Like a very open, the emperor has no clothes moment. So it is directed at us. Yeah, I'm sorry, it is. I said, this is the only speech for the most hardcore MAGA people. So basically my chat, and I assume also my YouTube audience.
There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. When common American people realize and understand that the political industrial complex of both parties is ripping this country apart.
That's a powerful line. That's going to hit. That's going to hit.
I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026. And I look forward to seeing many of you again sometime in the future.
January 5th?
May God bless you all, and may God bless America.
Definitely a interesting speech. I wonder what, she's resigning on January 5th because she has January 6th something to do. Right after the pension healthcare kicks in. You guys are so stupid, bro. Do you realize they have nothing to do in the House? If all she wanted was the healthcare and pension, she could just keep the job. Do you understand? They were asking them to do nothing. You guys are conspiracy brain. I think she quit for the reason she said. It's just God, everyone needs a you just parrot shit. But I'm just saying, I think the bigger issue here is that she's beginning this anti-Trump within MAGA movement. Now, this problem is they're just going to turn more, like they're going to turn more right, honestly. But so here's the deal is like, as Trump's polling continues to deteriorate, he may be tempted to try even more authoritarian things, but without the support of his base, it's a lot riskier because people don't want to join that if they think there's a chance it could flip. Like her doing this and his polling already being what it is this early after the honeymoon period, the most likely outcome is that he's a massive lame duck mid-26. That's the most likely outcome. The way this is going is that he's going to be an extremely powerless lame duck president, possibly headed towards impeachment. Like that's the direction it's going. That is the most likely outcome. Now, things can get crazy and Trump could try something crazy, but that is where it's headed. Listen, like I've said, a lot of people have made very bad bets predicting the downfall of Trump over 10 years. But I do feel that the GOAT is washed. I've been saying this. I think, especially now that the honeymoon period of this term is over, the affordability stuff is killing him. It's just he's lost it. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have the sauce. Plus Epstein double whammy. The Epstein affordability double whammy, I think it's curtains, bro. I don't think he has the sauce.